Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video. In this video we are going to be looking at Wayland, who is a promo character. This is what he looks like as a 5-star. He's got a hoodie and a bandana, and as a 6-star he does get upgraded quite nicely. He looks pretty cool as a 6-star. He looks like a knight basically. I think that's what they've gone for. And he's got that big two-hander, the Zweihander. It is an attached weapon. We'll check that out in a second. We'll look at his stats first. And he's got that 1,720 attack, 1,720 defense, and 1,935 HP. So pretty balanced stats. And he is a tank, which is kind of strange with those stats. He's got quite high damage on those on that attack stat. But he is also strong traded. So we'll look at his rush. It is called Heated Strike, and it does 700% damage to one enemy. So a big hit for what he is as a character. Big base stat for a tank. That's one of the hardest hitting tanks I think that's ever been in the game. You could potentially just gear this guy out to be a damage dealer and he would be able to one-shot a lot of characters. This character recovers from heal reduction and gains 20% bonus HP. So the second half of this rush isn't much. It's really strange that he's a tank. I guess it's just playing into the fact that he's geared out the way he is in terms of all his armor and stuff. But that damage is pretty immense. And when we look at his active skill, it is kind of strange. It's pretty lackluster. It's a supportish kind of active skill. It has an initial cooldown of 2, cooldown of 5, number of uses 3, and up to 3 other teammates gain 30% bonus HP. So not a lot going on there, you know, it's kind of self-explanatory, just 3 teammates get bonus HP. I guess that could be okay. It's not anything spectacular. It's definitely the weakest part of his kit so far. And knowing, you know, what his special skill, as you can see, is Payback, and that his weapon, it would probably be pretty decent anyway, It's probably the weakest part of his kit, and like I said, he is a specialist skill Payback character, and if you run into Negan, you know these guys are pretty strong. The difference between him and Negan is Negan has very, very high base HP, whereas Wayland has very, very low base HP, so you're going to be hitting that 30% of his max HP much easier based on that. But it is going to be easier to kill him because he's got less HP as well. But he has also got higher defense. It's a very mixed bag. Payback can be one of those weird ones. He's going to be much more susceptible to things like bleed and burn, but he's going to be much less susceptible to basic attacks. So it's hard to know, and considering the sort of reds alert characters that are available, there aren't any like super heavy hitting reds, especially within, you know, wide access. Within promos, I think most of them are sort of like good on their rushes and more just annoying characters, whereas I don't think there's any heavy hitting reds. Whereas blues versus Negan, even within free to play, there are some pretty decent heavy hitting blues on basic attacks. They also can benefit from the double attack weapons not proccing Payback, whereas there's nothing like that within reds, except for Sandy. Double attack Sandy is a direct counter for Wayland. She could potentially take him out with a basic attack if Wayland is under geared or geared heavily towards attack. So that's a potential way of managing to take this guy down. Now when we look at his weapon, I actually like his weapon. It looks really cool. I'm going to be honest, I love this look that he's got in terms of the knight. I know he's like a smith, and realistically we should just kill off Earl at this point. You know, Wayland for smithy, everyone knows this. Wayland's defensive molten sword is a big one. 30% defense base, 15% HP, and when being attacked, a 50% chance to cause 750 burn damage for 2 turns to the enemy. This of course can be disarmed, but if it's not, that's 1500 damage. That is a lot of damage. This guy, it's hard to know where he's going to be most useful. I think he could potentially be that attack team Payback character, whereas Negan's the defense team character. Just because he has so much damage output, he could be immense. Obviously he's going to be fine on defense as well. It's a bit weird that he's got that 30% defense stat, especially, I mean, I guess that plays in line with his tank role, but it doesn't really correspond very well with his rush and his stats, you know. I'm not really sure there. So overall, pretty solid character. I don't think he's ridiculous other than the specialist skill. The 700% damage, like I said, there are characters that deal immense damage already in terms of single hit damage. I really like the way he looks, but Payback is going to be the hardest thing to sort of get around with this character. But all in all, I actually think this character is fairly balanced, all things considered. The weapon is the dodgy part. If you don't disarm that, that's going to be a problem. Payback as well. You've got to learn to actually, you know, take down Payback characters, but other than that, I think this character is just all round pretty nice. The biggest issue you've got, especially within promos right now, is there's not really too many teams that he could go into. There's a lot of alert and a lot of fast characters out there right now, and this could be one of the first characters that comes out in terms of, you know, transitioning to a more strong defense team, you know, strong characters going on. I guess we've got Pam as a leader. There aren't too many within Generation 2 that really make that solid defense. But he looks cool. I have to say this, he looks cool. So that's 6-star Wayland. Like I said, I think this character is overall pretty strong. However, I think this character is probably going to come into more prominence down the line. I don't think he's initially going to be that superstar character just because of the other characters that are readily available. However, I will say right now, he's definitely got to be a top 5 minimum in terms of just visuals. He looks really great. I always have said that the art in Road to Survival is always top notch. Never any issues with the characters and their art. But do tell me what you think about Wayland as a character. That is the end of my video, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.